Hi, this is Sweet June coming back at you with another video. I was on here the other day. I was on YouTube watching YouTube the other day, and I love real estate. I'm kind of into real estate, and I like to watch some of the real estate channels. It's this guy on here on there. Um, his name is Chris Haskins, and he does a lot of um, you know the, they have the Shay Show. I always watch the Shay Show. If you guys I love the Shay Show. Um, he's one of the main ones that I watch. I've been watching Shay Show since 2012. I'm a big fan of the Shay Show. He's out of now. Shay is out of Detroit, and he does a lot of. He manages a lot of properties, and he owns properties, and he does videos for people for prospective buyers that wants to buy properties. He does the videos. He shows the houses and tells them, this it's not worth it or whatever the situation is. So you get a chance to check him out, Shay Woods, here on YouTube. He's got a great channel. But there's another guy I watch on here. His name is Chris Haskins. I don't watch him that much, just here and there. And he does a lot of same, but pretty much the same thing that Shay does. Um, and so I forget what city he's out of though. But he sure is. He's good looking. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's eye candy. Um, but anyway, I was watching a video of his the other day, and he was he had a guy on there. They did a live stream. I asked a couple questions. People were asking questions and they was answering people's questions about real estate. And no, that's not the video. It was another video that he did on here about Section 8. That they were him and another guy was touring a Section 8 property, and they basically just wanted to see. They just wanted to see if this Section 8 tenant had trashed the place. For some reason, when I got to watching this video, I got a little annoyed when I was watching this video. They was like, well, let's see how the property looks. They was standing outside the house at first. And they said, okay, well, let's see. This was a Section 8 tenant. He was talking to the guy that owned the house. He said, this was a Section 8 tenant. He said, yeah. Um, and then they was like, well, let's see. They said some other stuff. And they was like, well, let's see how this is a Section 8 tenant. Let's see how they left the house. In other words, let's see if they trashed the house because they were on Section 8. So I got a little annoyed by that. When I said, for some reason, I just got really irritated and annoyed because I'm like, now, the disclaimer, I'm not on Section 8. So don't come on here. People, every time I talk about Section 8, I get accused of, I'm accused of being on Section 8. I used to be. I did a whole video telling that story on here. It's titled Section 8. I did a whole video telling my story how I used to be on Section 8, but I got off of it. So I know I'm not on Section 8. This little disclaimer. So I want to save you guys some. This guy named Briggs. This guy named Briggs. He does a lot of the demographic type videos. He says stop typing. I love it when he says it. Stop typing. So before you come on here and say I'm on Section 8, stop typing. I'm not on Section 8. But I'm an advocate of people being on Section 8 that need it. If people need Section 8, then they should get it. They should be on it if they need it. I'm kind of an advocate for that. So, and there's nothing wrong with needing Section 8. There's nothing wrong with if you need it. There's nothing wrong with being on it if you need it. Um, but I used to be on Section 8, and I got a little irritated because they was like suggesting suggesting that everybody on Section 8 trashes properties or don't take care of the property. And I got annoyed because I'm like, not everybody on Section 8 is like that. I said, now, not everybody on Section 8. And I know that it's a lot of people that say that. I guess that's why they felt the need to do the video, because there's a lot of people that say that. And I'm that guy that owns that property. Maybe he's had some other experiences. And Chris Haskins has probably had some other experiences with properties where people did that. So I guess they was trying to set the record straight, and I guess in a sense it was a good video because they was trying to set the record straight and basically let everybody know that everybody on Section 8 don't destroy property. So in a sense it was a good video, but I was annoyed for some reason. I was annoyed because that suggestion was even made in the first place. I mean, ultimately, when you look at the bigger picture, it is a good video because it lets people know. Because they winded up going in the house, and the house was the renter left the house in pristine condition. You know, to make a long story short. And so, in a sense, it was a good video to do to disprove the stereotype that everybody on Section 8 trashes properties. But I got irritated at the suggestion being made at all, because not everybody on Section 8 trashes properties or don't take care of their stuff. I know a lot of people that's on Section 8. Well, I don't know a lot of people on Section 8, but I know some people on Section 8, they do not destroy their property. They keep their house clean. They take very good care of their stuff. When I was on Section 8, I had an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, and I kept that apartment cleaner than I keep this house. I mean, I kept that apartment clean. I kept that apartment nice. And at the time, it was just me and my son, me and my oldest son, and I kept that apartment nice. I kept it clean because, they had to do their inspections. When they came and inspected, it was clean. I always kept that apartment clean. I kept it in real nice condition. And when I moved out of it, I made sure it was clean. I never left any of my homes. Anytime I ever moved out of somewhere, I always made sure it was clean. Because I figured I didn't find it that way. I didn't move in it that way. So it's a lot of people. I know some people on Section 8 that are the same way. They keep their house or apartment clean. I knew some people that was back then that was on Section 8. They kept their place clean. They kept their apartment or their house nice. So not everybody on Section 8. I get a little irritated sometimes because they like to stereotype people that's on Section 8. There's that stigma. People that are on housing, public housing, it's that stigma. And they like to stereotype people on public housing. To say that everybody that's on Section 8 or everybody living in projects don't keep their house clean, don't keep their house up. They like to trash the place. And that might be the case. I'm sure that is the case for some people that is on it. But that's not the case for everybody that's on it. You got people that's not on Section 8 that trashes properties. So I don't like it. It's just stereotypical. I'm so over the stereotypes. I know that that's the way it is, and I know people gonna say it. I just so over poor people being stereotyped. Because you're poor, and you're a certain way because you're poor. No, people just because a person is poor don't mean that they don't like to live in a clean dwelling. doesn't mean they don't want nice things and they don't want to keep things nice. Because I want to keep my stuff nice. And a lot of people that's on Section 8 or whatever, they keep their house nice. And they like to keep their things nice in the house. So that's not representative of everyone on Section 8. Just tired of that suggestion being made. Just because someone's on Section 8, they trash their house or they're trashing their apartment or they live a certain way because they're on Section 8. It's a huge stereotype. It's a horrible stereotype. It's a horrible stigma. When I first got on Section 8, I didn't know when I used to be on it back in the day. I was on it for about 4 years. I didn't know that there was a stigma associated, and it's even more of a stigma if you black and on Section 8. Now, if you a black person and you on Section 8, don't be black and be on Section 8. If you black and on Section 8, it's even worse. You're gonna be stigmatized even more and stereotyped even more. So at the time I was young and I didn't realize, you know, that it was such a huge stigma of being on it. I mean, I didn't realize it. Such a big, huge stigma. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be because with housing prices being as high as they are, people need that Section 8. People need it. You know, housing prices are extremely high, and the wages aren't high. The wages don't match the housing prices. So there's a lot of people that need to be on it. There's not a lot of people that need that program. And more people need it even more now because do you know that since the pandemic has been going on, that the homeless rate has increased? Before the pandemic, we had 50 million people in poverty. Now I don't exactly know how much it is now, but I'm sure it's much more than that because of people losing their jobs. You had some businesses that closed down altogether. It's a couple of restaurants here where I live that shut down. I think it was Ruby Tuesdays and another one I think shut down completely altogether. So they must have been struggling before the pandemic. Yeah, some companies closed altogether. They closed altogether. Yeah. So as a result, a lot of people losing their jobs. They said more and more people are filing for unemployment now because of this pandemic. So people need that Section 8. They need it. Homeless rates are going up because a lot of people have lost their homes. Landlords don't care. They're throwing people out anyway. They don't care about it being a pandemic. Well, they say this country was ill prepared. They said this country was not prepared for a pandemic of this magnitude. They said this country, just the government, just wasn't prepared for it. They just wasn't prepared. You know, they should have been. They should have been prepared, but they wasn't. They wasn't prepared for a pandemic of this magnitude. So it's more people that need those programs. They need that Section 8. So this is not the time to be judging people, shaming people, making people feel bad. It's like what I said in many of my other videos. People needed to get off their high horse. Some of those same people that were probably looking down on people that were on Section 8 or some type of assistance. I bet some of those same people require assistance now. They need help. And there's going to be more and more people that's going to need help. So this is not a time to be looking down on people. This is not a time to be stereotyping people. Looking down on people, stereotyping people, shaming people, making people feel bad because they got to get help when they need help. This is not the time for it. Because one day you might look up, you might need help too. You might need that Section 8 yourself. Not good to look down on people that's on Section 8. Or the way things are going now, any one of us can be wind up on the street. Any one of us. We don't know. We don't know. We're living in very, very uncertain times. And, it's getting close to the time of the end. It's getting really, 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 really close. I mean, we're down to the wire. So anything is liable to happen before it's all over, before it's all said and done. So I just got a little irritated when I was watching that. I wasn't irritated with him because I actually I like watching his channel, but I don't watch his channel that often. But I was just kind of irritated. This guy kind of irritated. I said, I'm just tired of all these stereotypes. People stereotyping poor people. People stereotyping people on Section 8. It's ridiculous. People looking down on people because they're a certain class. This country is this is a very classist country. People looking down on certain people because they don't have a whole lot of money. Looking down on poor families, poor people. It's not loving. So I just here to dispel the myth. Not everybody on Section 8 trashes properties. There's a lot of people that's on Section 8 that actually take care of their stuff. And they're good tenants. I took care of my stuff when I was on Section 8. I took very good care of my apartment. And it wasn't even what I wanted, to be honest. Because Section 8, they only allot you only allotted it was just me and my son, so it was just two in my family. So they only allot you so much money according to your family size. So I wanted a townhouse. They had townhouses and apartments out there to this complex that I was living and moved to. And I wanted a townhouse. I wanted a 2-bedroom townhouse. And they was like, no, you can't get that because they only gave me enough money for the apartment. I only had enough money because they only allot you a certain amount, and people don't realize that too. They only allot you a certain amount according to your family size. So in order for me to get the townhouse, I got a better job and I started making more money. So I gave up my Section 8 to get the townhouse because I was going to make a long story short, I was going to buy this house, and that fell through. I didn't, I'll tell that story one day, but when I was going to buy the house, that fell through. So I really wanted out of that apartment. So I was making enough money to cover the townhouse. So I said, what the heck? I told the manager, I want to go ahead and get the townhouse. They had their own little subsidy out there. So I was able to get on their subsidy, but you got to drop the Section 8 because they call that double dipping. Double dipping. You can't be on both. So I had to drop the Section 8. And then they wasn't going to let me get a townhouse anyway. So I said, well, and at the time, my thought was, I'll go ahead and give it up. And then, because it took me almost 2 years to get, I waited almost 2 years. I think I was on the list for like a year and a half before yeah. So it's quite a waiting list. So my thought was, I'm going to go ahead and give somebody else the opportunity that needs it more than I do. So I gave up the Section 8, and then I got what I wanted because I was making enough money at the time to cover it. So I said, I gave that up and went on and got what I wanted, and I got my townhouse. So that's why I gave it up. But I didn't know that there was a stigma. I had no idea that was a stigma associated with being on Section 8. And then, of course, when I lived in the townhouse for 3 years, and then I moved into this house, and I've been in this house ever since. So, yep. So, I just got really irritated by that. But let me know in the comment section though if you know somebody that's on Section 8 that keeps their apartment or their house very clean, they take care of their stuff, or if you have been on Section 8 yourself, or you are currently on Section 8 and you keep your place clean. Let me know. Sound off in that comment section and let me know. Either way, you know somebody that's on it, or that they keep their house clean and whatever the situation is. So go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button. Hit me up on Facebook under Sweet June. On Instagram, I'm under Sweet June 52. Until the next video, this is Peace and Love. This is Sweet June.